The almond magnum comes for everyone.
Reuben Kaye is in the house.
Woo! Anytime pride isn't a protest, then it's complacency. Queer issues are global issues. It snowballed so quickly, they just spun article after article. We had to cancel my gig. Are queer people really public enemy number one?
Welcome to Gay and NonGay. I'm James Barr and I am gay.
Yeah, I'm Dan Hudson and I'm non-gay and Reuben Kaye is in the house.
Woo! Reuben Kaye!
I'm so gay.
Yay! Oh my god, I'm so happy to see you. Apparently you topped this morning, is that right?
Well, you know I am very versatile. I've got a lot of range. It's on my casting bio. It's under special skills.
She's got range.
Yeah.
Do you know what though? I just think it's funny because there aren't many people in the world that would walk into a room and just announce, I topped this morning.
Well, I was very happy with my effort.
Is that actually what you said?
Dan went down.
Dan wasn't listening. He blocked it out.
I thought you said something like, "Oh, I was on top of the world this morning" or something, and James went to that.
How have you done over 483 episodes and you haven't cottoned on to top?
Well, I know what it means, but people don't. To be fair, people don't normally come in and say that. So
gays do. It's just that you're not normally in the room, but
Right.
gays do. Gays do. But
Yeah.
in the morning, I don't know if I do that in the morning.
Topping in the AM, the unknown Cole Porter hit.
Is that the hit?
Yeah.
Is it? Is it easier
I think so.
diet-wise? Is it like? is it
Yeah.
more of a vibe?
100%.
Right. Okay. Because you haven't
100%.
had to eat all day.
You mean not eat all day?
That's what I mean.
Yeah.
what's the issue with doing it in the morning? He's tired.
Because your dietary system's maybe like done its job.
Let's say there's
Yeah, but you're-
traffic on the highway.
I understand if you were bottoming, but this is
Yeah, but where do you think my penis goes, babe?
yeah, but it's not your problem, is it? It's the other person's.
No, it's on my penis. It's
Yeah.
very much my issue as well. It's an issue. A problem shared is not a problem halved in this case.
Yeah.
Sometimes it's doubled. I think that's how maths work.
I think so.
I guess. So I suppose actually you may as well be like bottoming because it's actually not your problem really.
Well, it is though still your problem, isn't it? Because there's a lot of shame in it.
Yeah, because the almond magnum comes for everyone.
Right.
Yeah.
Right?
Yeah.
And also, are you hosting? So is it your sheets? We've jumped in so
We've really gone
deep
so deep. Yeah.
into queer law here.
I mean, in this hypothetical situation, probably hosting.
No, so do you want to deal with that?
Well, the thing is, you're gonna have to deal with it anyway.
No, you're not.
Because if it's not that, it's gonna be spaff or what. You're gonna have to wash it anyway.
No one spills
No,
spaff.
it's not in the gay. You don't spill that, babe.
No,
Right.
that's either a
Swallow
moisturizer or a
that.
mouthwash.
Yeah, or you pop it in the
well-
fridge and use it tomorrow.
Yeah.
Okay,
Keep on as a
maybe.
little cool pop
Or-
for the
But-
wrinkles.
okay, well, not
I use it as a retinol.
sweat, whatever. Like, you're gonna
Sure.
have to wash the sheets anyway, aren't you? So
Not really.
Not really.
So-
Gays don't sweat.
No.
right,
We had our paws removed.
right. Okay.
And I've left other men's semen, like a splash of semen on the bed for a couple of days.
So what's going on? What's the latest?
Changing the subject. Interesting diversion.
Right. So what is going
So, tell me about your career and life.
I'm doing so well, guys. I'm doing so well. Well, I'm here in London.
Yes.
You're taking your new show to Edinburgh.
I've got a new show, Live and Intimidating.
Amazing.
Very
which
exciting.
actually sums you up perfectly.
Thank you.
So I love that. Can you tell us more about it?
Sure. So it's me and my band, Reuben Kaye and the Meat Sweats, and it's sort of a dissection of the current world. It's about apocalypse, it's about eco-anxiety, it's about cancellation, because I went on a TV show in Melbourne, in Australia.
We're going to get into that.
It's about queer voices in public. It's about sport. It's about masculinity and the links to the apocalypse. It's about not just queer joy, but it's about queer rage. In a lot of queer circles, we talk about the importance of queer joy.
Yeah.
You know, we maintain that because so much of queer existence is incredibly troubled and incredibly endangered. So queer joy is very important. But actually, for me, I have now experienced queer joy, and I think queer rage is the productive engine that allows for queer joy.
Yeah.
Queer rage for me is the thing that changes things, whereas queer joy celebrates.
It's interesting that. Yeah, it's like pride or protest.
Well, for me, they're the same things. And anytime pride isn't a protest, then it's
not.
complacency.
What do you do with that rage when you have it?
Oh,
Like, what do you where's your queer rage at right now?
Sometimes it festers on the couch with Ben and Jerry's, and we've all been there. It's my favorite threesome. But then it goes into the work, and I get to implement it into my work. And what I find is when queer rage is sort of placed on stage and seen by queer audiences, it engenders queer joy because of it. I've said those two words far too many times in this interview already, and Dan is lost. But
I think Dan probably relates to the rage.
Well, that's the other part of it. It's this thing of going, oh, queer issues are not queer issues. Queer issues are global issues.
Yes.
Every straight person out there who thinks, oh, queer people are so different. Sorry, who's fighting for lower taxes? Who's fighting for all of the same things? Better education, better health. It all facilitates and helps us all. Queer issues are straight issues. So even my audience, which is incredibly mixed, it's incredibly mixed. We have young queerdos and older straight people. We have people of all sexualities. They all come in and realize, oh, in a moment where the world is more divided than ever, we are all experiencing the same thing, and in fact, that should be uniting us.
So let's talk about you getting cancelled over a joke.
Yeah, let's go.
We're going to play a clip.
Are we? Great. I love it.
I think it's hilarious when someone messages me and says, you have to accept Jesus' love or you will burn in hell, because I love Jesus. I love any man who can get nailed for 3 days straight and come back for more.
James has got a joke. Jesus is definitely gay because him and his 11 friends go out for brunch all the time.
12 disciples, Dan.
Yeah.
Keep up.
There's similar jokes, right? So why do you get
Well,
cancelled and
and
James
that they're
doesn't?
both about Jesus being gay.
Well, they're both like arguably...
I think I know the difference, though.
Right, go on then.
Well, I guess my take on it is that mine's brunch, so it's safe and cute, and yours is visually sexual.
Yeah.
And that doesn't make it any worse. But in the eyes of society,
Yeah.
they don't want to visualize a man having sex with a man. Right?
What it also highlights is how commonplace this joke is, this trope is, right? It's not like I'm breaking new ground with this joke. It's an offhand comment. And what occurred in Australia was a real firestorm because it was picked up by religious groups. And of course, you could look at any other comedian who spends their time tearing down Jesus. You could look at someone like Ricky Gervais, because I got lots of messages saying, why don't you be a real comedian like Ricky Gervais, who spends all his time tearing down religion? Proves they don't really care about the joke.
Yeah.
They just care about who's telling it.
Did this bother you?
Absolutely it did, because it snowballed so quickly, and the media got on board with it, specifically Australia's right-wing media, of which we have a lot. They just spun article after article about it. Queer comedian must apologise. I had priests coming on to panel shows denouncing me, saying, I don't think he's even receiving all these death threats. I'm like, they're in meetings with New South Wales police, with the police ministers. We had to cancel my gig and then rebook it, but only with sniffer dogs and metal detectors and private security. It was so hectic. My parents were told not to open anything that came addressed to me. We were all put on priority response lists. Of course, it made me feel incredibly vulnerable.
Yeah.
But it also highlighted the absurdity of this happening for a joke. And that's why I think queer rage is necessary now.
Yeah.
Because here's the thing. We're in an age where the world feels like it's ending all the time. Are queer people really public enemy number one in 2024? When we've got kids mining lithium for our iPhones in the Democratic Republic of Congo, we've got Palestine being invaded, we've got genocides left, right, and center. But no, we'll just focus it on queer people.
Yeah. We'll just look at trans people.
Yeah.
Yeah.
It's exhausting, isn't it? Constantly having to fight that fight. And you're right, that's queer rage. So I guess I do have some queer rage.
I think we all have
It's
queer rage.
bubbling
Even
inside of
straight
me.
people have queer rage because you all know a queer person. If you don't want to know a queer person, don't have kids. If you're not prepared to have a queer child, don't have kids. I will say this, in amongst all that cancellation, all of the death threats, was the way the queer community flooded in support across social media and helped put out a lot of great fires. But one part of it that I did love was one person kept commenting on my content, you're going to hell, you're going to burn in hell, and hell is hot. And then one of my fans just wrote down next to it as a reply, Reuben's hotter.
Love.
Dead.
Yeah.
I'm dead. So now
That's
I
a
want
good
to
one.
I want to write a song called Hell's Hot, I'm Hotter.
Oh, you have to?
I have to.
Oh my God, please have that ready
Like
for
a
the end
good
of
old
your
club.
Edinburgh run.
Yeah, good club thumper.
Yeah, it's giving Jerry Springer the opera for some reason. I want that.
Did this stop, or is it still going on just at a slightly lower level? Or...
At a slightly lower level, it's still going on. I still get a huge amount of hate online, and I think there is an elevated level of security at my gigs in Australia, but I have asked my agents and my management to just never let me know about that stuff. The shows that I did immediately after this in this kind of media circus, because it really was this national kind of hallmark moment, I think, in Australian media, where we saw how little the Australian media cares for a person's safety, that they will just go them. I made the decision to open my show by opening the doors to the venue and hugging every person who came in and greeting every person who came in, because I knew that this had given me a whole amount of exposure, and that meant that people would either buy tickets to my gig for three reasons. One, they liked me, they knew me before they were here because they loved it. Two, they were new. That incident was their first taste of me, and they would come back for more, or that they were there because they were going to pull a stunt or protest. And we did have people unfurling signs in the middle of shows and stuff and all that. So I wanted to disarm all of that. I wanted to say, hey, if you think I'm some filthy shock comic, then I'm going to really show you, no, this is a real person. I'm a real person. I'm welcoming you. What do you want? Do you want a handshake? Do you want a hug? Do you want to say hi? Do you want a photo straight away? And if you're coming here to pull a stunt because you think that I'm some demon out to get you, I'm going to disarm that because I'm going to show you that I'm a human being just like you are. And then I sat everyone who came to the show like I was there with the ticket subs, with the front of house people, you know? And I still do that specifically for this show to humanize me first for these people.
Okay, I knew that you did the hugging thing, but I didn't know that was why. I thought you were just a nice guy.
Do you know what? It started out in London because I started as a host in cabaret venues, and I loved the vibe of seating people and talking about them, getting into people's stories. And I would do that, but as the shows got bigger, suddenly I'm trying to seat 300, 400, 500 people. That becomes untenable. But then when this show happened, I went, I've got to start doing that again.
Yeah.
I remember when I did my first Edinburgh Fringe show, and I was so nervous. I mean, I still get nervous anyway, but when you do a free Fringe show, you're doing everything, right? So everybody's coming in, and I was greeting everyone and saying hello, and it's so much nicer.
Isn't it?
Yeah, because it's like they've come to your house.
It also breaks the ice for you as a performer.
Yeah,
so
it does.
You're no longer thinking of the audience as a monolith or a mass that hope that you fail.
Yeah, it's just a bunch of cute people that came in and said hello to you, and they're in your house, and you're ready to go.
The audience is actually on your side. They want you to be great.
Yeah.
The audition panel wants you to be on your side. And that's something that so many performers forget.
You said that you didn't get very far in Australia until you came to London and sort of found your people.
Yeah, I think I always knew what I wanted to do. But in a way, I think I was also trying the wrong way to do it. And then I started doing shows, and then I got into Evita, and then I got into musicals, and then I realized I don't really fit in musicals. And then I went to a cabaret here on a whim. And it wasn't like the musical theatre cabaret I'd seen in Australia. It was circus acts, and it was strippers, and the host was in the middle of it all just spinning shit, singing a song and looking great. And I was like, who? I could do that. So I kind of looked around at all the different hosts in London, and I thought, okay, they do that, they do that, they do this, they do this. What do I do, and what is missing? And I crafted this persona. And then I bullshitted my way into a gig. I came back to Melbourne for something. I found a cabaret show and said, I'm direct from London. I'm from Evita. I'm a huge deal. And they went, oh, well, we'll let you host.
Yeah.
And I went on. I wasn't very good. On the next time I went back to London, I said to them, I've just come back from Australia. I hosted this thing. I'm a huge deal. And oh, well, he seems confident. We'll give him a gig. And I just bullshitted my way from gig to gig to gig until I kind of had the stuff. Real kind of testament to fake it till you make it.
Yeah.
I mean, it's a tale as old as time, but it's also just amazing, like, witnessing that, I suppose.
I know, I really should have done it on a shorter flight.
Yeah.
Yeah. It's funny because, like, I'm in New York a lot, and it does go a hell of a long way. Exactly what you just said. I've just been in New York doing this, or I've just been in London doing this. And either side are like, oh my God, that's amazing.
And it was in the days way before Instagram, TikTok were as big as they were.
Yeah.
So no one could research it.
Yeah.
All they could do was look at the photos I would send them, or the
Right.
snaps of it, like the 30-second bit of grainy footage. And they would go, oh, well, the footage looks great. Or the photos look great. He seems great.
Yeah.
You know?
Everything is bullshit, isn't it? Absolutely everything is bullshit and perception.
Mm-hmm.
Nothing is what it seems.
No, open your phone now. Open your phone now and find me something genuine.
Yeah.
It is so rare. I mean, we're all in TV and all these kinds of things. Look at it. They're all chasing these genuine moments. But what they do is they spend hours crafting.
Yeah.
Crafting and setting it up. Yeah.
Yeah.
Putting the shellac on a tier so it stays there long enough for the camera to get the right angle.
Yeah. I went to see Lana Del Rey the other day in Boston, and it was amazing. But there was just a guy, and I'm sure this is more common than I realised, but there was just a guy who was just filming himself for the whole show. And then he turned around and started filming me. And I said to my girlfriend, like, if he does that again, I am going to say something to him. Because, like, this is just, like, absolutely awful. Like, this is ruining my whole night.
Yeah.
It's when you're filming yourself
Yeah.
at the show.
But they do
Like,
it all the time. We
But
see
it's
so many
addictive,
people.
and I do it as well. I don't know why I do it. I start doing it, and I'm like, what am I doing? Put my phone away. Like, I'll go see
Yeah.
Madonna or something. Because you want to tell your friends that you're there. But it's so annoying because you don't need to.
But there's also this thing of, and I'm guilty of it too, now that you have followers, you now have an obligation to speak to your followers.
Yeah.
It gives your voice weight, and it means that you have an urgency to make content for your followers. You have
Yeah.
a duty.
Yeah.
And that's a very nice linguistic trick, an NLP thing in social media, to program you into using it more. And social media calls all of its customers users, and the only two industries that do that are social media and drug dealing.
Yeah.
That is not my quote, by the way.
No,
but
it's a great
good.
quote.
It's a really, it took me a second. I'm still processing it, but that's absolutely right, isn't it? I mean, it is abusing us. And how many times have you been in bed just scrolling for like 20 minutes, and then realize, what am I doing? We talked about Australia's homophobia. What's the dating world like? What are the Australian men like? Because for a while now, I've been thinking Australian men might be the one because they're quite ruthlessly honest.
Yeah, they are.
Which I appreciate.
Ruthlessly honest, direct. I think there is still within Australia a divide between gay male spaces and queer spaces,
Interesting.
which I don't necessarily see as much of here in London.
Yeah.
It feels a little more elided. It feels a little more integrated.
Well, obviously because gay, white, cis men are toxic to an extent, right?
To an
or a
extent,
lot are.
yeah.
And we know that. I think we're probably working on that maybe here, trying to stop being like that and trying to merge more. Do you think that they're not doing that in Australia?
I think they're on the way. I think they're definitely making progress. Why do you think an Australian man might be the one?
I actually don't think any man is the one, if I'm being honest.
I agree.
That was just me being flippant. I guess I'm just in that mood at the minute where I'm like, oh, Australians seem more like loud, abrasive, honest. And I love Americans because they just tell you what they want. But then sometimes I think they're a little bit too narcissistic.
Australians might be a nice sort of...
Maybe I'm thinking that I'm
Middle
in the market
ground.
for a middle ground Australian.
Yeah, I do find sometimes British men can be social bottoms.
Right. That's
is
such a
a bit
great
like-
description.
like
I'm
a
so
so-
glad
like-
we had the bottom chat with Dan.
See, now
I
you're-
mean,
Please explain
I'm
it,
obviously
though.
now going to ask what that is because I have no idea what that
a
is.
social, but I think a social bottom is someone who kind of it's not about
They'll pretend that
whether-
they're a bottom until...
no. It's about
That's a different thing.
It's about social interaction. It's just a bit more passive and a bit more no.
whatever you want.
Whatever you want. I don't
Yeah,
know.
okay,
You make
sure.
the decision.
What, like in the bedroom or just...
No, just in life.
Right,
In life,
right.
this is we're extending the metaphor top
Yeah.
and bottom to then apply it as an umbrella term to your interactions in the world.
Right, okay.
And I just find that there's so much of British etiquette which is responsible for British people not actually saying what they want.
Yeah.
And not asking for what they want.
Yeah.
Because to advocate for yourself will be seen as rude. It will be seen as
Arrogant.
It might be seen as lower class to be, or it might be seen as entitled. Is all this class
Yeah.
warfare in this country is mad.
Yeah.
I always think of sort of like Britain's classism is front and center, and its racism is just underneath the surface. But in Australia, it's the opposite. The racism is at the front, the bigotry is at the front, and the classism is further back because we started as a country of thieves and refugees.
I can't work out which is worse between those two options. I mean, both are terrible. Like,
Well,
whether it's worse that the racism is at the front.
Well, it's also those thieves the thieves at the start were refugees. If you're getting deported for a loaf of bread, you're not really a thief, are you? You're not really a prisoner. You're a refugee. You should be seeking asylum. They just didn't have that kind of vocabulary back then.
That's so true.
What were you about to say about people who pretend to be a bottom?
I think I act more like a bottom sometimes, but I'm not necessarily always a bottom. Like, I think I'm way more versed than...
But also-
But I just am more camp. But that's not really me acting like a bottom. But people might think I'm more of a bottom just because I'm
We've
a bit more camp.
associated masculinity with topping and femininity with bottoming for so many years. And sometimes that's very, very true. But it ain't always true.
No.
Yeah.
And it's probably a bit toxic
we
to
are.
be like, oh, just because I'm more manly, I'm the top.
Yeah.
Why?
I heard that you shout your own name when you spaff. James does that as well, actually.
I definitely
Do you shout my name when you come? I do. It was a joke because in this 1 month that happened when the media just descended on me, there was something like 45 articles written about me in about 3 weeks. It was every day there was 3 or 4 articles about queer comedian must apologize, Reuben Kaye. And I had to have something to say about it on TV when people asked me about it. So I just said, this many articles were written about me. Even I don't think I'm that fascinating. And I scream my own name when I come.
Right.
So I built it up as a defense.
Yeah.
You know,
Okay.
like we all do with jokes when we're in this situation. When we're all airing dirty laundry.
Yeah, I got asked a really annoying question this week. An interviewer asked me if me performing and my comedy was a facade for
I hate that.
What does that mean? And how would you feel if someone asked you that? Because I was pretty angry.
No, so people have asked me that. Because they always think of drag as an armor for a wounded human being,
yeah.
right? And what they don't realize is that drag is not just armor for some, it is amplification. And for comedians, comedy is amplification. It is an ability to be heard in a world that told you your voice wasn't legitimate.
Yeah.
And if anything, drag and my makeup set free a voice in me that I didn't know really needed to get out. It helps me with my anxiety. It's helped me speak up for myself. It's helped me be more confident and advocate for myself because I've funneled it through this lens which has magnified it. And also because it's magnified, I can see it clearer.
If you ever feel down, do you just think, right, I'm going to put drag on just for me?
I used to, but no, not as much, and maybe I need to. There are days when I'll have to practice a makeup look so I don't go out there looking botched. But doing it sometimes just to feel good, actually no. And maybe I should.
I don't do drag, but I could definitely relate to what you're saying. And sometimes you just need to force yourself, don't you? To like be somewhere that you don't want to be mentally. Can I ask you another question?
Yeah.
Do you ever have sex with people that recognize you on Grindr?
Yeah.
Do you? I don't do that. I get really freaked out.
I used to get freaked out by it, but you just gauge the situation. And if you think there's a power dynamic that isn't cool, or if you think, oh, this person is doing it because they know me and isn't actually attracted to me, then I know that hookup is going to be really shit.
Right.
I'm going to feel bad about this. I
So
still
you
have
just gauge it.
Yeah, I gauge it. You know, if there's chemistry,
Yeah.
sure. We're in the
Interesting.
public eye.
I just feel like my sex opportunities have diminished since being like more in the public eye because I just keep getting recognized. So I'm like, okay, bye.
Thank you so much for coming on the podcast.
Before you go, please tell us where you are performing. Obviously, you're at the Edinburgh Fringe, and so am I, jamesbarcomedy.com.
Where are you on at? Tell me where you're
I'm
on.
Underbelly, Bristow Square, Buttercup. I think it's
I
Buttercup.
love the Buttercup.
5:15 p.m. every day.
Do you know what? That is so smart. Because you've got the rest of your night to see shows and party and you can still sleep in.
Absolutely.
I am green with envy. So I am just next door to you over the side of the fence. We're like Romeo and Juliet.
We are.
I'm
Let down your hair.
That's Rapunzel.
Oh, what? Oh my God, you're right. But there's a balcony.
There's a balcony and that's what matters.
I did tell you I couldn't read.
So I am at George Square, the Palais de Variety Spiegel
Fabulous.
tent. So camp. I'm doing my show live and intimidating at 8:30, Wednesday to Sunday, and then every weekend at 11:55, same venue, I'm doing the K-Hole, which is my favorite show.
It's the best show of Edinburgh.
Thank you so much.
It is. It's everyone comes together.
Yeah.
It's a riot. I can't wait. I feel like I'll be at every single one.
And also, the biggest announcement we have is I'm bringing it to London to the Clapham Grand on the 28th of September. So you can come.
Yeah.
And and I'm doing Live and Intimidating at the Soho Theatre, 10th of September to the 21st of September. And the Soho Theatre has dynamic pricing, which means if you buy the tickets earlier, they're cheaper.
We'll put all the links to these shows in our episode description.
Yeah, thank you for listening. Go and see Reuben in Edinburgh. Go and see James in Edinburgh.
We'll see you very soon. We're going to be taking a quick break because Edinburgh is so busy. But we love you. Thank you so much for listening to our podcast and supporting us. I feel like I'm saying goodbye, but we're back in like 4 weeks, so I won't get emotional.
Also, we got
literally tearing up. I'm obviously on my period.
Also, by the way, and we should tell Reuben this, we got nominated today for Best Sex and Relationship Podcast at the British Podcast Awards.
Yes,
Did
we
you really?
Yeah.
Yeah, we did.
Oh, claps, claps,
thank you
claps
very
all
much.
around.
Thank you. Let's come on your podcast.
Come on my podcast.
Yeah.
It's called Spaff on my podcast. It's called I've got a podcast called Come to Daddy. It's where I interview comedians and performers and entertainment professionals about their parents and how that influences the performer and the person they are today.
Amazing.
Super interesting.
Ooh,
We have
that
so
is
many great.
deep.
It's
Yeah.
deep.
That is
And
really
it's
deep.
Very funny. We get a lot of great people on. Come on it. I'd love to have you as guests. And you
Yeah.
can find it wherever you find good podcasts.
And on that note, goodbye. See you soon.
later.
Have a great summer.
Bye.